We've all been there before. Well, maybe like 97% of us haven't, but 3% have, where you get fired from your job for beating up your boss and leaving like the fuck you seen from Half Baked.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
Actually, maybe more people can relate to the ex boyfriend, ex girlfriend theory, where you don't know how good you have it until you leave them, which is a perfect segue to what we're talking about in this episode 4 reasons CM Punk should go back to WWE. Before we get to that, GTS that like button and subscribe to the page. Now I'm tagging my partner in. Why don't you start us off with the number 4 reason CM Punk should go to WWE?
Well, I think the number four reason for me, which is beneficial to Punk and WWE, would be a part-time schedule. I think that uh, it would help Punk out by coming in and doing a big angle, a big story, big match, and then getting to take some time off and heal his body and his mind. Clearly, he needs to heal his mind. And also, it helps WWE because you can kind of keep him out of that locker room a little bit, and maybe you fold him in like a little at a time, type of thing, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And it keeps him fresh in the fans' eyes. It keeps him as this like enigma savior, what the fans believed he was, and it'll kind of keep him fresh, and he doesn't get stale and kind of boring and everything like that.
For number 3, as a fuck you to AEW. A return would do huge ratings for WWE. It would bring buzz to WWE, pissing off AEW, hurting their business. He talked all this shit about WWE when he was in AEW.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm back here now, which indirectly says a lot about AEW without having to say it, like, oh, it turns out the grass wasn't greener.
Yeah.
I'm back home. Also, another aspect, like espionage in a way, I guess you could say. But a lot of the reports have it where the AEW locker room follows Cody Rhodes or CM Punk. Now, if CM Punk goes to WWE, both the guys that were like the leaders of your company are gone.
Yeah.
That's a bad message. Maybe the younger talent that liked those guys decide to jump ship to WWE now. So that's the number 3 reason I have. What's number 2 for you?
Number two for me is the structure within WWE. I feel like in AEW, because of Tony Khan's like love for CM Punk, he was given a longer leash and kind of free to say and do some of the things that he just wanted. And you're not going to get that in WWE. I mean, you look at what happened at All Out. I believe it was the All Out press conference where he just goes off. That's not going to happen in WWE. The thing where he was in the ring and he called out Hangman Page without anyone else knowing in the back. That's if that happens in WWE, there's going to be repercussions. So I think if you give him a little more structure and his promos and his matches, I think that's going to help CM Punk in the long run with the locker room in WWE.
With that structure and that microphone about Hangman Page, recently, there's the rumor saying that WWE isn't going to sign him. And a lot of people said maybe it's because Triple H doesn't trust CM Punk with the live mic.
Yeah.
I think what you just mentioned with that structure is why he's not afraid of CM Punk with the live mic, because lawsuits could be brought up. Also, his legacy would be completely destroyed if he has another meltdown on the mic.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I feel like if you did something like that where you're in the ring on live TV and you call out a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins or someone like that, you're gonna have to answer to that in the back. I don't think like a Roman Reigns or a Seth Rollins is gonna let you get away with that. Where I think Paige was towing the company line and didn't want to make waves and let it go.
And what's the number 1 reason?
Well, number 1 is redemption. Whether you love Punk or hate Punk, you can't deny that he kind of cemented his legacy as not one of the all-time greats for me, but I mean he was great, great promo, great in the ring. And if you look at some of his, like, he had the famous promos with the pipe bomb or telling The Rock your arms are too short to box with God. He had the world title reigns. His Money in the Bank 2011 match with John Cena, that's probably one of the like best put on and structured matches in WWE, and it had like this holy shit ending where you didn't know what was going to happen. And I think that starting off in AEW, he kept himself up in this upper echelon that he was in. But over time, with the way everything ended, it's kind of a black eye on his legacy. And I think going back to WWE, doing business the right way, and having these like more classic matches and promos and moments helps get him back up as the savior, as hardcore wrestling fans kind of labeled him as.
I completely agree with that's why he has to go there. Even if he hates Triple H, hates WWE,
Yeah.
he has to show back up there because right now, our lasting memory of him is a terrible buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
Shitty ass feuds.
Yeah.
Him just being crazy at a press conference, meltdowns, fighting Jungle Boy.
Yeah, trying to fight Jungle Boy, or apparently, I guess, threatening Tony Khan's life or whatever happened with
Scared
that.
the shit out of Tony Khan, apparently.
Yeah, Tony had to sit down to tell people that he wasn't coming back.
Traumatized them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want, when he walked away from WWE, it was this dream of bringing him back that people had. And even the Young Bucks themselves said, we want to bring CM Punk back to wrestling. And I think he's one of those guys where that's where he belongs, is in wrestling. I know he's tried Hollywood or MMA or whatever, but I think he's a wrestler, and I think that he belongs in wrestling. And you don't want this to be like your last impression is what happened with AEW. And I think doing things the right way and also showing the fans and the people and the naysayers and the haters that what happened in AEW was, a string of bad moments all together. And I'm not this guy. I can work with other people and I can do things the right way.
I also think, too, the lasting impression, even if he doesn't want to work in WWE, if he just comes in for one feud with Seth Rollins, you can get a WrestleMania main event. That's something he wanted.
Right.
And he can know, hey, we're going to have a badass match. Seth will get me there.
For me, it's Roman. Like, if he comes in, and, there's that thing going around now where Roman's like, we had issues, he's going to have to apologize to me. If he comes in and he apologizes to Roman and he lets his name be a notch on Roman's,
historic run.
Yeah. That's kind of goes a long way, I think, for making amends in WWE and professional wrestling.
In the comments, let us know your views on if you think CM Punk should go to WWE and if he will show back up in WWE.